Listen closely. This video didn't appear by accident. It found you because this message has your name on it. You've walked through storms that nobody knew about. You cried in bathrooms, whispered prayers into pillows, and wiped your tears before anyone could see. You kept going, even when your heart felt like it was breaking in slow motion. No applause, no support, no witnesses. Just you, your pain, and God. They thought your story ended in the dark. They thought silence meant defeat. Some even celebrated your downfall quietly, thinking you would never come back from this. But what if I told you, God was never punishing you, He was preparing you? What if the silence wasn't rejection, it was protection? What if the delay wasn't denial, it was divine timing? Because the same God who watched you cry in private is about to make you rise in public. The same people who ignored you will soon have no choice but to watch you. The rooms where your name was spoken in whispers will echo with applause when you walk in. And I'm not saying this to make you feel good. I'm saying this because something in the spiritual realm has shifted. There is a change in the air, subtle but undeniable. Heaven has entered your story. Some of you feel exhausted. You're tired of being strong. You're tired of pretending you're okay. You're thinking, God, how much longer? When does the blessing come? When does the pain stop? And this, right here, is the answer. Your private pain was a seed, and seeds don't grow on the surface. They grow underground, hidden, buried, unseen. But just because something is buried doesn't mean it's dead. It means it's being prepared to rise. And now, listen to this carefully. Your season of being buried is ending, and your season of breaking through the soil is beginning. You're not hearing this by coincidence. There are 8 billion people in the world. You could have been scrolling past anything right now, but you're here. That's not random. That's alignment. Before this video ends, you're going to understand exactly how and when your rise begins. You're going to learn why God hid you, why He let people leave, and why He allowed pain to shape you instead of comfort. Because pain was never the punishment. It was the preparation for your public purpose. So, if your heart is beating faster right now, if your eyes are filling with tears, if your soul feels like, this is for me, this is my message, then don't move. Don't click away. This is only the beginning. Before we begin, tell me in the comments. I'm still here. Not because everything is perfect, but because even after everything, you didn't quit. This is your confirmation. Your story is not over. Your pain was private, but your rise will be public. Let's talk about the part of your story no one knows about. Not the version you show people, the real one. The one only you and God know. The nights you cried silently so no one would hear. The nights where your chest hurt, but you still said, I'm fine. You went to sleep with tears in your eyes and still woke up the next morning like nothing happened. You held yourself together when everything inside you was falling apart. You were your own friend, your own healer, your own cheerleader. Nobody checked on you, but you still checked on others. You were breaking and still showing up for people who wouldn't even notice if you disappeared. People saw your smile, but never saw the breakdown you had in the bathroom mirror. They saw your strength, but never saw how many times you almost gave up. They saw you standing, but never knew how many nights you crawled to get there. Comment CTA. If you ever cried alone, type broken heart, but I'm still here. Your comment is not just a comment, it's a declaration that you survived what was meant to destroy you. You worked while others slept. You sacrificed your peace to keep everyone else comfortable. You gave love to people who didn't return it. You fought battles no one even knew existed. And the craziest part? They thought you were okay because you carried your pain so well. You learned to laugh with a heavy heart. You learned to pray when nothing seemed to change. You learned how to wipe your own tears, straighten your back, and whisper to yourself, keep going. And still, no one clapped for you. No one stood up and said, look how strong they are. There was no audience, no spotlight, just you, God, and the storm. But here's the twist. What broke you is the very thing God is about to use to bless you. Read that again. The very thing that looked like it destroyed you, the betrayal, the abandonment, the sleepless nights, the heartbreak. That is the material of your miracle. Your scars are not signs of defeat. They are the receipts of your survival. They prove you didn't just go through pain, you grew through it. God did not ignore your tears, He counted them. He didn't abandon you in the storm, He was teaching you how to walk on water. Right now, heaven is planning something you won't even believe until you see it. The same way you cried privately, you will celebrate publicly. The same way nobody saw your pain. Everybody will see your rise. People will ask you, how did you make it? And you will smile because the truth is, no one saw how hard it was, but God did. And He's about to make sure the world sees what He saw in you. Engagement prompt again. If this feels like your story, comment below. But I'm still here. Because that alone makes you a miracle. You know what hurts the most? It wasn't the pain itself. It was feeling like nobody even noticed. You were breaking silently while the world kept moving like nothing happened. You were screaming inside, but only God heard it. People saw your smile, your strength, your calm voice. But they never saw the storm behind your eyes. They didn't see you praying at 2 a.m., asking God for a reason to stay alive. They didn't see the moments you gave when you had nothing left. They didn't see the bills you paid for someone else, the way you forgave people who never even said sorry, or the times you loved people who never loved you back. But heaven saw it all. Every silent prayer, every hidden tear, every sacrifice nobody clapped for, every God, I trust you, even when it hurts. Let this sink in. People may have ignored your pain, but heaven was taking notes. Nothing you did in faith was wasted. Not a single tear, not a single prayer, not a single time you chose love when you could have chosen revenge. God wrote it all down, because the world rewards what is seen, but heaven rewards what is unseen. But here's the twist. God won't expose your enemies first. He will expose your value first. You wanted God to show people how they hurt you. You wanted Him to expose the fakes, the liars, the jealous ones. But God is saying no. Before I expose them, I'm going to reveal you. He's not preparing a moment where your enemies get embarrassed. He's preparing a moment where you get elevated. Why? Because your story is not about revenge. It's about revelation. God is not in the business of petty. He's in the business of purpose. So instead of showing people how wrong they were about you, He's going to show them how called, chosen, and valuable you always were. They won't understand how you went from forgotten to favored, from overlooked to unstoppable, from broken to blessed. You see, when heaven starts watching, not people, your life shifts. Doors open that people tried to close. Opportunities chase you instead of you chasing them. Your name gets mentioned in rooms you've never been in. Not because of luck, but because heaven decided now is the time. Some of you have been asking, God, did you even see what they did to me? And God is saying, I saw it. I also saw how you responded with grace instead of hate. That's why I'm about to reward you publicly. Comment CTA. If you never gave up on yourself, no matter how hard it got, type this in the comments right now. I still believe. Not just because everything is perfect, but because deep down, your spirit knows. Something is about to shift. Your value is about to be seen. Your name is about to be honored. Your faith is about to be rewarded. Heaven saw what people ignored, and heaven is about to show the world what it saw in you. There comes a moment in every warrior's life where the battle becomes so heavy that surrender feels easier than survival. You know that moment. The moment you sat on the edge of your bed holding your head in your hands whispering, God, I can't do this anymore. Why me? Why does it always hurt? You almost walked away from everything. The dream, the hope, the fight. You weren't weak. You were just tired. Tired of always being strong. Tired of always being the one who survives. Tired of healing from battles you never asked for. Maybe you didn't say it out loud, but in your heart, you whispered, God, if you're real, show me something. Because I'm at my breaking point. And here's the truth no one tells you. Most people don't break because they're weak. They break because they've been too strong for too long. You weren't losing faith. You were losing strength. And still, you kept going. Even when your hands were shaking. Even when your soul was heavy. even when your prayers felt like they were bouncing off the ceiling. But what if I told you that this feeling of breaking was not the end? It was the threshold, because everything goes wrong right before it's about to go right. That's the pattern of God. The darkest night comes right before the sunrise. The pressure increases right before the diamond forms. The storm gets loudest right before the sky clears. And your life is no different. You thought it was over, but it was actually the transition. You weren't being buried, you were being planted. And planted things aren't dead. They're just getting ready to break through. But here's the twist. The universe tests you the loudest, right before it rewards you the biggest. Read that again. Screenshot it. Let it tattoo your heart. That moment where you felt like giving up? That was the test. Not to see if you'd fail, but to show heaven you were ready for what you've been praying for. Because blessings require weight, and only people who survive storms can carry them. You cried and still got up. You broke and still chose love. You bled spiritually and still kept your heart pure. That is why the breakthrough is closer than you think. Right now, it may still look messy. You may not see the light yet. But trust this, God does His best work in the dark. Seeds grow in the soil long before they bloom in the sun. Engagement prompt. If you've been feeling this, like you're at the edge of something big, type in the comments right now. I'm close, because saying I'm close is not ignoring your pain. It's choosing hope before the miracle arrives. Someone needs to hear this today. You are not breaking down, you are breaking through. This is not the end of your story. This is the page before the plot twist. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the atmosphere changes. Not outside, but inside you. You start to feel it. The weight doesn't crush you the way it used to. The pain doesn't break you the way it once did. Instead of asking, why me? You start saying, watch me. That's the shift. Pain no longer controls you. It builds you. Your scars don't embarrass you anymore. They empower you. Because you realize those scars are not proof of defeat. They're proof that you survived what was meant to destroy you. And now, heaven is turning your private pain into public purpose. Your name is going to be spoken in rooms you've never entered, in conversations you didn't know were happening, by people who have never even met you, but feel your courage, your resilience, your fire. Your story, yes, the one filled with heartbreak, betrayal, loneliness, is going to inspire people around the world who are silently fighting their own battles. Not because you had a perfect life, but because you survived an imperfect one and never gave up. But here's the twist. The same people who ignored you when you were broken, the same ones who never called and never checked on you, never believed in you, will pretend they always supported you. Just wait. They'll say, I knew you'd make it. They'll say, we were always proud of you. They'll try to rewrite history so they don't look like they disappeared when you needed them the most. They weren't clapping when you were building in silence. But they'll clap loud when you're shining in public, just so they look like they were part of your journey. But you know the truth. They weren't there when you cried. They weren't there when you questioned your worth. They weren't there when the only person you could rely on was God. And that's okay. Because this next season of your life is not about proving them wrong. It's about proving God right. He said you were chosen. He said you were set apart. He said the stone that the builders rejected would become the cornerstone. So stop worrying about who clapped and who didn't. Stop waiting for apologies you may never get. Forgive them. Not for them, but for you. Because forgiveness isn't saying you were right. It's saying you no longer have power over me. This is the shift from pain to purpose, from hurt to healing, from ignored to undeniable. And now heaven is positioning you, not because of your perfection, but because of your persistence. Get ready. Doors will open you didn't knock on. People will bless you who once doubted you. Opportunities will find you that you didn't chase. Because when God says it's your public season, nobody can stop it. Comment CTA. If you're ready for that shift, from private struggle to public season, type it below. I'm ready for my public season. There is a moment in every chosen one story when heaven says, enough hiding. Now it's time to be seen. That's the season you're stepping into. You spent months, maybe years, feeling like opportunity belonged to everybody else. Like doors opened for them, but not for you. Like they were chosen, and you were forgotten. But now, things are shifting in your favor. This is the season where opportunities begin to chase you, where the blessings become so loud that even the people who once ignored you can't ignore you anymore. You won't have to beg for a seat, knock for attention, or prove your worth to anybody. Because when God decides it's your time, no enemy, no delay, no human opinion can stop it. Suddenly, your name is being spoken in rooms you've never stepped into. People you've never met are saying, "Who is this person?" We need them emails, calls, invitations. Things start coming to you without you running after them. Why? Because when heaven opens a door, no man can shut it. Your resilience is being rewarded. Your private faithfulness is becoming a public testimony. Where you once felt invisible, now you're undeniable. People who whispered your name in gossip will now hear your name spoken in honor. They once said, "Who do they think they are?" Soon they'll say, "I always knew they'd make it." They didn't clap when you built quietly, but they will clap loudly when you rise publicly. Not because they're proud, but because they don't want anyone to know they doubted you. But here's the twist. Your success will not be private. This next blessing isn't going to happen behind closed doors. It's going to be public, undeniable, and unforgettable. Why? Because God is preparing a table for you in front of them, not behind them, not away from them, in front of them. So the ones who laughed will watch you rise. The ones who walked away will see why God kept you. The ones who said it's over for you will have to sit and watch as God says, "I'm not finished with them," but pause, listen. This is important. This table is not about revenge. It's about revelation. It's not about humiliating them. It's about elevating you. Because the real victory isn't seeing them fall. It's seeing you finally stand. This is not the season of bitterness. It's the season of blooming. You don't rise to prove them wrong. You rise to prove God right. So what does this rising season look like? Doors you prayed for will start to open without you knocking. People who once ignored you will come back, this time with respect. The very areas of your life that were once sources of pain will become platforms of purpose. Your testimony will speak louder than your tears ever did. And as your table is being set, God is also checking your heart. Will you be humble when I elevate you? Will you bless those who didn't bless you? Will you still remember me when you no longer feel broken? Because the rise is not just about public honor, it's about private character. Comment CTA if you're ready to sit at that table, ready for the public rise God prepared for you. Type it right now. I'm chosen. Type it boldly. Type it like a declaration. This is not the end of your story. This is the beginning of the part they can't ignore. They thought the story was over when you fell silent. They thought the darkness swallowed you whole. They thought your absence meant your ending. But let me whisper a truth only heaven knew. They buried you, thinking it was a grave. But heaven knew it was soil. Soil is not where things end. It's where things begin. Your tears didn't drown you. They watered the ground you will soon rise from. Your pain didn't break you. It planted you. Every lonely night, every unanswered prayer, every moment you said, "God, why me?" was not ignored. It was collected, counted, and turned into power. People only saw the dirt that covered you. They didn't see the roots growing beneath. They didn't see the strength forming in secret. They didn't hear God whisper, "Hold on, the bloom is coming." Now listen carefully. The season of burial is over. The season of becoming has begun. You're not rising by accident. You're rising because you were chosen to. You didn't go through everything just to stay broken. You went through the fire to come out refined, not destroyed. God is about to make the ground that held you release you. What once buried you is now what will elevate you. The same people who said, "It's over," will say, "How did they rise like that?" The same ones who said, "They'll never recover," will witness a miracle they can't explain, because your story is not about revenge, it's about resurrection. Your pain was private, your healing was quiet, your prayers were whispered, but your rise will be public, loud, unstoppable, not to embarrass anyone, but to show the world what God can do with someone everyone counted out. They saw your breaking, now they'll see your blooming. So what happens next? You will walk into rooms you once felt unqualified for. Your name will travel farther than your feet ever could. What was taken from you will return, multiplied. Peace will replace anxiety. Favor will replace rejection. No more hiding your light to make others comfortable. No more shrinking yourself to fit small places. No more apologizing for surviving. This is your rebirth moment. Feel it, breathe it, claim it. Because heaven has already written the next chapter, and it begins with one sentence. They thought it was the end, but it was only the planting. If this prophecy touched your soul, type it below. I rise now. Type it like a declaration. Type it like you're stepping into your public season. Subscribe, because the next message is even bigger. The next video will not just speak to you, it will announce you.